Today on Fido and Wine.
He wasn't looking at anybody. He just wasn't eating properly. He was just a mess. And we thought, oh my God, here's one that we won't be able to save. Ewing is a miracle, aren't you, sweetheart? You are.
Dr. Jean Dodds is a dynamo in the world of animal sciences, veterinarian, scientist, inventor, innovator, published author, and of course, dog lover. Dodds is a world-renowned vaccine research scientist and practicing vet in Southern California, where she founded Hemopet in 1986.
I started thinking, why don't we have a blood bank for animals just like we have for people? Why don't we have a Red Cross for animals? Hemopet is the only non-profit Greyhound rescue, animal adoption, animal blood bank licensed by the state of California and licensed to sell blood products throughout North America and also the Orient. We control service I should say, about 40% of the canine blood supply in the North American continent. We thought about pounds and shelters because most large pets are not adoptable, but you have temperament issues, you have health issues, you have coat issues, and I thought this is too complicated. What about greyhounds?
For the past 100 years, the gaming industry has capitalized on this breed's natural speed and strength through legalized greyhound racing. But life for a racing dog is not the same as life for our pets at home. Forced to race, many greyhounds are put in danger at the track, with hundreds of race-related deaths and injuries every year. And life off the track is not much better, as most spend their days in kennels, muzzled in cages or enclosures with no climate control. The recent exposure of these poor living conditions has led to a decline in the industry, with smaller crowds and less money being made at the tracks. Surprisingly, there is no legislation regarding greyhound racing in Canada. However, it's illegal in over 40 states in America. With numerous advocacy groups all across North America and the UK, there is hope that this industry will become a thing of the past. However, as long as there's greyhound racing, there are greyhounds that need to be rescued once they're of no use at the track.
First of all, in order to provide a safe blood supply of canine blood for North America and the Orient, we have to have donors that can do that. And you have to have animals that are available to do that, and they have short hair. They have really good blood counts. They're wonderful companions. And so in the short term, they're going to provide blood to save other dogs' lives. In the long term, they're going to make wonderful family companions. In order for us to have the size of Greyhound rescue and adoption program that we do with 200 animals, plus or minus, on site, we have to be able to pay for it. And we do that by doing two things. We need to provide safe blood for transfusions because otherwise animals are not going to get them for emergency or chronic other blood needs. So we have to do that on one hand. On the other hand, we have animals that have to provide the blood, and we have to be able to find them homes because they've given, not voluntarily, quasi-voluntarily, right, to help the lives of other dogs. And so this is a win-win situation. Both sides are helping each other. Not that I endorse using animals as a source of making money. I don't ethically, but that's a different matter. That's their decision. Our decision is to help some of those animals be companions and at the same time provide blood to help other animals and save their lives.
So when the Greyhounds end their career of racing, which can range anywhere from the age of 2.5 to 4, some have actually raced till 5 if they're really good racers, my understanding, because we will get them at that age too. But once they've ended their career, if they're not rescued from the track, then they will actually destroy them. So, because they look at them as a commodity, they don't look at them as pets or anything like we do.
They're not abused, the ones we get generally. They're in very good shape.
So
We hardly ever get animals in this condition, this situation, because we screen them all before they come here. But obviously he must have been just on the cusp of collapsing and nobody knew what was wrong with him. And we don't know why he ended up in the Greyhound rescue unless he was just, you know, energetic for a while and then very lethargic and they realized he would never be able to run. And so that's why we got him. And we don't really know, do we?
No.
When we did our first wellness exam on Ewing, all of a sudden we noticed that his glucose level was 700. It was close to 6 times more than it should be, and it was spilling glucose into his urine, so that meant he was a diabetic. At that point he collapsed, and my colleague Dr. Robert Woods and his staff actually saved his life twice. We gave him insulin, we gave him fluids, right?
Yes.
Right. He wasn't looking at anybody, he just wasn't eating properly, he was just a mess. And we thought, oh my God, here's one that we won't be able to save. And
When he first collapsed, you know, they had him on fluids and such, and it was literally day by day. We did not know if he was going to make it day by day, because then he wasn't even. We couldn't even regulate the insulin.
Ewing is a miracle, aren't you, sweetheart? You are.
Yeah.
He says, my goodness, I'm watching everybody looking at me with those cameras.
Coming up,
When the Greyhounds are at the tracks, they basically are there, and they just live in their pens, and they're taken out to run their race, and then they're put back in their pens. Of course, they're fed, and they're probably exercised, but they have no other life.
I can see the diamond in the rough. I can see the dog that he has the potential to be given the right circumstances and the help.
as soon as the Greyhounds arrive, the team gets to work.
This is a new dog that just came in, and we're gonna do an intake on him to see how his progress is coming from the track. First of all, we weigh the dog and see if he's in a standard weight. If not, we increase the food or decrease it. But so far, he looks really good. But we would probably put a half a can of food in his diet more. Okay, and then we check the saliva glands and the lymph nodes here to see if they're swollen. They're all normal. And I work myself down to see if I feel any bumps or anything. And I check the paws because sometimes they have like cuts from the tracks and they're not treated correctly. And we always make sure they have a dew claw. And if they don't have a dew claw, we write that down. Because sometimes they take them off in the track so they can run faster. It's very sad. We check the sternum. Sometimes they have like really bad rashes down there because they lay on cement in the track and they have no treatment. So far this guy looks really good, but he's bald, so that's normal for a gray. And then we check the back. You know, I check the spine to see if there's any pain. Everything's good here. The next will be a bath and some flea treatment, and then a nice crate for him and a nice meal.
One special service these greyhounds have access to at Hemopet is Dr. Dodd's patented Nutriscan saliva test for food intolerances.
There's been some with a lot of hair loss. Usually that would be a good candidate for a Nutriscan. So we can find out what diet they can be fed. Because sometimes in the track they don't get a correct diet, or maybe our diet is not helping them either. So we'll try to figure out what protein to give them.
Once they've been spayed or neutered and declared parasite-free and had any broken bones repaired, the rescued greyhounds go through color-coded stages on their path to becoming adoptable pets. The first stage is the Purple Barn. Here, the rescues begin to learn socialization skills, how to walk on a leash, and are put into pairs once the team learns what personalities work best together.
Hi, I'm Mark Seckel, and I've been working here about 2 years now. It's just great to see the dogs rescued and not being euthanized and whatnot after they've been on the track for so long, and be able to get in a home and have a good life. I think I'll keep working here until I get old. I just love the dogs that much. I think I would work here forever if I could.
They go from the purple to the green, and as they go into the green, usually at this point, they're not wearing their muzzles during the day. They're living with each other without any problems. They're just muzzled at night. And really the purpose of the muzzle, the dogs are not vicious at all. The purpose of muzzles is so that they're very thin-skinned dogs. They have no fat on them, so they can easily, just playing with each other, they can create a nick or, a tear in their skin. From the green building, they go into the blue building. And this is actually their rotation down to be adopted. And in the blue building, we're not muzzling anymore. The only time they are really muzzled is when they're in their play yards together. And that's just to avoid any problems. From the time that they've gotten here at Hemopet, it takes about a year to get into the red barn. So this is our final step, the red barn. And in the red barn is where our dogs are adopted. And as you'll see that they do not live in kennels anymore, they're living in X-pens. And the purpose of the X-pen is to teach them how to live that way comfortably as opposed to the kennels. They're also living as a single dog in the X-pen, because when they go home, they usually go home as a single dog, and they need to learn how to be comfortable without their partner anymore.
Next, how these greyhounds find their forever home.
My job is seeing the potential in every dog and giving every dog a chance and an opportunity to be the best they can be and find the right home.
Betty De La Rosa is Hemopet's adoption guru. She has helped over 1,000 greyhound rescues find their forever homes.
This is Whiteout. He was a very successful racer, and then he arrived with us. He wasn't sure of the situation, and so we've been working with him to get him settled down and used to his new setting. And he doesn't understand how he went from the top to being just another dog. So we're just kind of helping him along with that by spending extra special time with him. He's a little more afraid, a little more shaky about things changing than a lot of them are. So we just spend extra special time with him to get him a little more used to what's going on by taking him out a little bit more and having him understand that the world's not gonna crumble around him. I can see the diamond in the rough. I can see the dog that he has the potential to be given the right circumstances and the help. So you guys are looking to add to the family?
Yes.
Potential adoptees are screened and carefully interviewed to make sure they're good candidates for a rescued greyhound.
Do you guys have a fenced yard?
Yes, 6-foot block wall all around.
And then you understand you can't have these guys off leash
Yeah,
unless it's
yeah.
a totally fenced area,
Yeah.
because they can do 45 miles an hour in 3 steps.
If candidates meet the criteria, they're introduced to greyhounds that they're interested in and that Betty feels would be a good match for every family member.
Yeah, let's take a look at Ruski,
Uh-huh.
since she's the one you seem to like the best.
Yes.
And let's see what Gizmo thinks of her.
Uh-oh.
And we're gonna have the muzzle on until we're comfortable with how they are together.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this is pretty good.
They're saying hello.
And that's what I'd rather see, is a little bit of
Some interest.
indifference.
Uh-huh.
Here, let's see. Let's try you without the muzzle. There, look. Well, that's good.
It's almost like ignoring her.
Yeah. Well,
That's good.
That's a good thing. That's
Yeah.
better. That's better than Muncher.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, they do have high prey
Yeah.
drive and all like that.
She's pretty good.
Look, she's so friendly.
She's so soft.
Yeah. She's very people-oriented, which is why she bounces around so much when she sees people coming around. What I love is watching the magic happen. When somebody comes in and finds the dog and the dog finds their person, and you see it happen right in front of you. That's what I love about this job.
Thanks to Dr. Jean Dodds, the Greyhound Rescue Operation and Blood Bank have helped save thousands of dogs.
Dr. Dodds is an amazing woman. She has energy, and she is just go, go, go. It is always all about the dogs and what's best for them.
It's okay. I know. I love you. Yes. I know. You want me to pet you, don't you? There you go. Good boy. Although she's luscious, her coat is luxurious. Oh gosh, people say I've got so many balls in the air, I'm all over the place. Does that mean I'm unfocused? I hope not. I actually have a very sharp focus. I don't know what drives me, other than the energy that I get from my 97-year-old mother. My father was pretty energetic too. I think it's the man upstairs that's telling me, you know what? You nearly died when you were very sick at 19, when you were first a veterinary student. Everybody thought you were going to die, had a complication of an appendectomy. You were gone. You were not going to live. But anyway, so obviously God gave me a will to live, and I think He gave me a purpose in life, a small purpose, I mean, in the bigger scheme of things, to try to do what we can to save people and use animals as a conduit to help people and animals lead a better life. And that's what's driven me all these years.